Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Dwelling Logs. We are back from Forest Week and we're here to tell you all about it today. So I'm so excited to share with you guys what Forest Week is to us. So we invented, it might exist somewhere else, but we invented Forest Week for ourselves because I really wanted to pursue a love and a learning of our local ecology, our local plant life, what ecosystems are around us. We live in the boreal plains just under the boreal forest in Canada, and so a lot of what we have, we don't see our plants always in different kind of resources that are out there that are very popular. A lot of the resources we get for homeschooling and books and things like that come from the United States, which have very different plant life from us. So I just had this real desire to make sure that we study and know what's around us and prioritize that. So what we've decided is to do a forest week every year. And this year was year number 1, first time we've ever done it, but we want to do it every year where we take a whole week to just dive in to the ecosystems and the plant life and animal life and nature that's local for us. So what I want to do is I want to make 2 videos. One, I want to tell you guys all about Forest Week and how we planned it, tips and tricks that I learned and all that kind of stuff, more chit chat stuff. And then there will also be a video of basically our week in the life, our footage from all the beautiful stuff that we saw at the lake and sort of how our week went. So both videos will be posted and you can check out one or the other or both depending on what you'd like. I think if I put it all into one, it would be this huge long video. So I'm going to cut it up and hopefully customize it to what you want to watch. So one of the messages that I want to get across is it was fantastic, it was beautiful, it was romantic, it was all that I wanted it to be, but I do want to just mention that there was real life as well. Okay, so like we packed up, we got all the way to the marshes to like set up and learn about marshes, and 2 of my kids had to go number 2, and we had to head all the way back to base camp. I had planned to wake up early every morning and do some Bible journaling and have a coffee before the kids got up, and I only woke up 2 mornings in time to do that. It was so cold, we just stayed in our bed for so long. We had to work through disobedience, disagreements, we had to work on collaboration with the kids. So when you look at video footage and you look at all the things that we were doing, you might think, oh my goodness, what a dream. And it was wonderful, it was absolutely worth it, we're absolutely going to do it again. But just know that in between those video clips, I didn't record all of the other stuff that happens with life. Okay, so if you're going to be doing your own Forest Week, I wanted to give you guys a few tips of what to pack and things about planning that I did, things that I liked or didn't like. So here we go. Number 1 tip, don't plan too much. Now this is something that I actually successfully did because I was very aware of the fact that if I plan too much and my kids aren't into it, they won't learn as much if they're not into it, as well as if I plan too much and they want to do other things, they want to go to the playground at the park or they want to just enjoy the water, then I'm pushing against them and there's going to be a battle happening. Plus, it's kind of nice to just do a little bit of intentional learning throughout your day rather than a whole lot, because it just allows time for the kids to sink in, for the information to sink in a little bit more. Nature breeds play and exploration. So leave lots of room for playtime, leave lots of room for free exploration for your kids to have ideas. And easy meals were a must for me. It was kind of fun. I had sort of something planned for each day, kind of one thing per day that I wanted to sort of dive into, trees and clouds and marshes like wetlands and things like that. But on Saturday, my kids wanted to do a yes day. Have you guys seen that movie, Yes Day? And they thought, Mom, this is going to be a kids say day. So all day on Saturday, we had a yes day and the kids dictated what we were going to do. And I know that's scary for some of us parents, but I highly recommend it. It was really, really fun. Tip number 2 is to plan things that go with what's around you. The whole point of this week was to study your local plant and wildlife, nature that's local for you. So plan things that go with that. I wrote some things down. We did a cloud study, and there was a couple days that were so clear that we couldn't do a cloud study. So I had to kind of move that day to when the clouds were moving. It actually worked out really good because we did it on a day that we got several rain showers, so the clouds were changing all day. So several times throughout the day, we could look at the sky and keep discussing about the new clouds that were forming. So a cloud study you can do almost anywhere. Local plant life and wildlife identification. I went online and I printed off field guides. My government website for Manitoba, for our province, has a Manitoba Trees field guide printable that you could print off that can help identify trees. We also got one from Ducks Unlimited Canada for wetlands of the boreal plains. So that's great. I know if you live in the States, there's a lot of field guide resources. If you live a little bit more in remote places, then it might be a little bit harder to get your hands on some field guides. But check out your government sites and get some local field guides so that when you're out there, you can actually learn the names of the trees. You can go through and flip through all the things and try to, look at the bark, look at the pine cones, look at the needles, see sort of the signs of the plant life that you're looking at to try to identify it. We went in the spring and there weren't even leaves yet, but we were still able to identify so many trees by other characteristics. If your kids are young like mine, they love scavenger hunts. We had this really cute little printable that we put with an egg carton, and there was 12 things to find and fill your egg carton with for spring. And I thought that was a really, really great idea. We didn't do it this time of year because we have a lot of daylight and my kids go to bed a little bit early, but you could do a star study. You could bring your telescope and go stargazing in the evening or at nighttime. One thing we did was litter pickup. I think it's really important to teach my kids to love nature and take care of nature. Those things go together. If our kids love nature, they'll be motivated to take care of it. So picking up litter, talking about eco-friendly, biodegradable products, all that kind of stuff. Become a hippie for a little while so you can teach your kids a little bit more about taking care of the earth and being good stewards of our world. Now, one of my favorite things that I packed was these treasure jars. So we have some seashells. Our lake doesn't have big shells. We just found these little tiny baby ones. We have enough rocks to probably be running our rock polisher for a couple more months. In here, the kids collected some pine cones, and my favorite, we actually hung our feathers on a cute little clothesline in our campsite. Anyway, so we came home with a whole bunch of feathers. I'm actually going to frame some of these. Another thing that I don't regret packing at all was like every kind of view enhancer that we own. And so we packed our little at-home microscope. It's not like a huge powerful one, it's just a really fun one. You can put seashells under or feathers and just see some things that are a little bit bigger. The kids love to bring home treasures from our hikes and then look in that. We did not bring a telescope, but I thought a telescope would have been really good. We do have telescope powerful binoculars, like they're meant for stargazing, so we did bring those along with the stand. We had bird watching binoculars. I had a cheaper pair of binoculars that I let my younger kids just use freely. They don't have to be watched when they're using them, so I made sure to pack those as well so that they could go ahead, and if they get broken, it's not as big of a deal. Magnifying glasses are a great one to pack. Anything camera lens. So I had my GoPro with me, I had my phone, I had my Nikon. If you have a zoom lens for your camera, bring your zoom lens. Anything that will enhance your viewing and help you be able to bring some stuff home that you can retreasure and you can talk about. Also, anything camera is awesome for if you're journaling. We did find that when we were out in the bright hot sun trying to nature journal, it was sometimes too bright because you have your watercolor paper and it's reflecting off. It was so bright. So sometimes it was nice to take photos and then nature journal with your photos in the camper or when the clouds came over or in the evening. So definitely anything that can enhance your view, anything that can help you capture nature in a photograph. So anything it's basically supplies for nature appreciation was kind of my thinking with all of this. And so I did not pack a lot of craft stuff, you guys. I'm a rare crafter. Like sometimes I get in the crafting mood, but most of the time I'm like, no, we don't do crafts. But what I did bring, I brought a roll of string and I brought clips so that we had like these strings in our campground and these little clips that we could clip on all the treasures that we were finding. If there are things that you like to do with seashells, maybe we could have brought some glue and some different things. So if you're thinking crafts, I would highly recommend you think of craft supplies that would help you use nature to make things. So we were a little less into crafts that we bring home and throw out. So I like to bring things like string and clips so that it's just our way to like hang things and string things to appreciate them. These little nature jars were perfect because even now I have them in my house on my counter and on my shelves, and I love them. I think that they're great. So things that are more like decor, that's kind of my jam. And you want to bring your nature journaling supplies, whether you just draw or whether you color with pencils. We like to do watercolor, so we brought all of our watercolor stuff. That was a really, really big thing for us this trip. So especially for me, my kids like to watercolor, but especially I do. I get so much joy out of it. So make sure you bring all your nature journaling supplies so that you can be recalling all the things that you're learning and keeping it somewhere that you can appreciate it later. Other favorite things that we had along with us is I made sure to download some audiobooks. We're actually starting the Green Ember series right now, which the kids are really, really enjoying. I am surprised at how well written they are. Even I'm enjoying the story as well. So audiobooks is super fun. We would sometimes have it playing while we were playing cards, Dutch Blitz, on our picnic table. Or we also played it for many hours in the evening. At bedtime, we would start at about 8 o'clock, and the kids would just lay there for hours listening to books until we were all falling asleep, and I would finally turn it off. It was also really fun to bring hot chocolate and mocha ingredients. I would have coffee in the morning, so it was really fun for the kids to make themselves a mocha and have it with me in the morning. Games, again, we don't go crazy. I don't like to pack a lot, you guys, so we brought Pit, we brought Dutch Blitz, and we brought Old Maid. So really minimal on the craft supplies, really minimal on the games. We had to bring quite a lot of clothing because it was very, very cold still for us. Our first night went below 0. The dog's water was frozen in the morning. We had no heater in our camper, so we had to bring a lot of warm clothes. So that's something I didn't go minimal on. But basically all the rest, I tried to go very minimal on everything, so that it just makes the trip better when you don't have to pack a whole bunch and when you don't have to come home and unpack a whole bunch. So if you're like me, try to pack minimally. Think about nature appreciation, think about necessities, and that's it. I even packed things from our play kitchen that I thought my kids might want to use in the sand and stuff like that, and they didn't. They didn't even touch it. So I think what we need to remember is that nature, like I said before, nature breeds play and exploration. You don't have to pack stuff for your kids to do if you're letting them learn how to have fun throwing stones and climbing hills and jumping off rocks. Okay, so what exactly did we do through the week? On Monday, we did safety and park exploration. I think that this is really important, especially since we went before camping season. So there was no park staff around, at least not every day. They did drive by 2 of the days that we were there for the whole week, but the park was actually closed to the campground. So we were allowed to be there, but there was nobody around. So safety was really important. Making plans with your kids. We did pack. We had a satellite messaging phone because there was no service up there. We brought our dog, which was our another safety thing. We have black bears around. I also had a can of bear spray in my backpack, and I had to go through with the kids and say, like, you cannot touch this. I have this here. It's in my pack, but this is just for mommy to touch. Showing my oldest son how to operate our safety phone, like our emergency messenger in case something happened to me, knowing where base camp was, exploring the whole campground to make sure that my kids knew how to get back if they ever got lost and things like that. So safety, I think, is a really good thing, and I'm so glad that we took the whole day to just kind of play and talk safety in between everything. It was really, really a good idea. Tuesday, we did tree identification. So we took our tree field guides out. We tried to identify the trees right around our campsite. We went for walks and hikes and tried to identify the other trees. Apparently, there's only 24 native trees in Manitoba, so that's kind of fun fact for you. So we tried to identify the trees that we could in the spring. This is one of our new favorite books. It's called The Magic and Mystery of Trees. Now, by the title, you might think like, oh, it's probably all magical and stuff like that. So I wasn't really sure about it, but it was recommended to me, so I bought it. It's 80 pages of tree information that's in language that kids will love and understand. Highly recommend this book. I got it on Amazon. Magic and Mystery of Trees, written by Jen Green. It's fantastic, and the illustrations inside are so fun. Some of them are realistic, and some of them are just like beautifully digitally illustrated, and we love it. This is a great book. On Wednesday, we did Wetlands. Like I said, we got something from Ducks Unlimited Canada that had a field guide all about wetlands. So we went to the marshes for a little while, and we studied wetlands and what identifies as a wetland, what kind of plants grow there. It was a little harder to identify the plants in the spring this early because there's not a whole lot of green things growing yet here where we are. So I'm really excited to dive deep into wetlands again a little later in the season. On Thursday, we did a lot of bird watching. We went to the wetlands again and we watched ducks. We saw blue herons. We saw loons. We had lots of loons up there. The kids had so much fun taking pictures of ducks. We painted some when we got back. It was a lot of fun for the kids to look at. My kids were looking through their binoculars, as well as I thought it was a really good opportunity to let them play around with my Nikon camera a little bit with some supervision, and they had a really, really fun time being photographers. So Friday, we finally got our cloud study done. That was the day that it kind of rained. We had rain showers come and go, so we did our cloud study and identifying what kinds of clouds there were. There were so many different kinds that we could talk about, and it was really fun to do it in the morning, and then throughout the day we kind of reviewed things like that. So I think we've come back with a lot more knowledge and a lot more understanding. And Saturday, like I said, was a kids' say day, so they wanted to go to the park a whole bunch. They wanted to build sand castles, which we hadn't done yet. They wanted to go on lots of hikes. Some of the things were things that we already did in that week, and some things were just sitting around and playing, which is great fun. We played a lot of Dutch Blitz that day, I'm telling ya. Friday, we also did our garbage pickup day. It was really, really cool. We spent about 3 hours in the morning walking all around the campground with a garbage bag, picking up garbage. And that day, the park staff came by and they were setting up garbage cans for the season around the park. And they noticed us picking up garbage, and they were so sweet. At the end, they came over to our campsite. They gave my kids some coloring books, and they gave them $10 for ice cream. And my kids were thrilled. So I really believe that kids who love nature will want to take care of nature. And this was something that was just so nice of them to do, and it was so reinforced that what they were doing was right and appreciated. So that basically wraps it up. That was what Forest Week was for us this year. We had so much fun doing it. We're looking forward to next year. I can't wait to go back next year and review some of these things. And I think after a few years, it'll really stick. After a few years, I'm hoping that we can identify all of our Manitoba trees that are around us and know things without having the field guide beside us. So I'm really excited to start the kids off on this. So if you want to do your own Forest Week, I hope that you do it. It was so much fun. It was so worth it. If you're on Instagram, you can tag me or even private message me that you're doing it so I can check out your journey as well. I think that it's great when we get our kids into nature. I think it helps us as moms and parents really dive into nature as well and love it even more. It's so thrilling. It's such a family-oriented thing. God's creation is so beautiful, and I love appreciating it, and you cannot go into the forest, into the woods for a whole week and not just be drenched in how amazing God's design is. It was so absolutely spiritually fantastic, and it was fantastic for so many other reasons as well. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed. Check out the other video in the link below, and we will talk to you later. Bye, guys. I can't make a video if you keep coming on to me. On Wednesday we did